Tonight, we're learning that the gunman was on law enforcement's radar for 3 hours, and the Secret Service designated Crooks a threat 10 minutes before Trump took the stage. And the Secret Service never said, Mr. President, don't go out there. They let Trump take the stage anyway. And 8 minutes later, he was shot. Crooks first aroused suspicion at around 3 on Saturday when security saw him with a rangefinder passing through the metal detectors. Police say they had an eye on him until he disappeared. Crooks was later spotted for a second time, this time by a sniper looking up at the roof, observing the building that he scaled and shot from. This was radioed into the command center. At one point, a sniper saw Crooks sit down and start scrolling through his phone. And investigators believe he may have actually had 2 phones. More on that later. This is when Crooks looked so suspicious that a local sniper team took this picture of him an hour before he opened fire. All of this information was being sent to the Secret Service command team at the rally. A Trump supporter in the crowd then caught him on camera lurking around. Watch this.
If you take a closer look, you'll notice someone in the background. The timestamp is 5:06, and the video appears to show 20-year-old Thomas Crooks lurking near a building just past the secure parameters of the event itself. As the video pans to the crowd, you'll notice law enforcement vehicles stationed in the area as well. As the camera moves back towards the building, Crooks appears to be seen again. Blink and you may miss it, but it likely shows Crooks was in the area for more than an hour before the shots were fired.
Another local sniper team later saw the shooter return to the building again, this time with a backpack. Again, the locals alerted the Secret Service command post, who still hadn't done anything. Then at that point, Crooks climbed up an AC unit and hoisted himself atop the building. Once he was on the roof, the Secret Service was alerted that there was a designated threat on the roof. Again, the locals had to take the lead. 2 officers responded, and this is how it went down.
When he was able to pull his head up over the roof, he did in fact see an individual on the roof with a weapon.
He saw the shooter?
He did.
And what did the shooter do?
Turned towards him, had the barrel of his weapon pointed at the officer.
At that point, the officer's hanging on
Yes.
to the side of the roof?
Yes.
Unable to pull a gun out?
Unable to
Defend himself? Unable to reach his radio?
Any of that, yeah.
In that moment, did they realize there's a threat right now to the former president?
They did. So both the boosting officer and the officer that fell were both on the radio, indicating that there was an individual on the roof that did in fact have a weapon.
Who did they radio?
So there was a blanket tactical channel being used.
Everyone heard it.
Everyone that was on that tactical channel heard it, yes.
Every Secret Service agent and every local officer knew there was an armed threat on the rooftop. Secret Service protocol requires the president to be evacuated immediately. But they let the president step on stage like a sitting duck. A 20-year-old with no military training was able to outfox a Secret Service team and local law enforcement for 3 hours and open fire from a roof of a security watch post 150 yards from the most famous man in the world. And the Secret Service was aware of this guy the whole time. All they had to say was, Mr. President, sit tight for 5. Don't take the stage yet. We have a threat. We need to handle it. They apprehend Crooks, and Trump keeps his ear. But that didn't happen. And former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino says that he has an unimpeachable source that says the plan was to have someone on that roof.
A high-level source reached out to me last night and said to me that the rooftop that the shooter engaged from was actually supposed to be posted by a local police department or a non-Secret Service counter-sniper team. For some reason, that local tactical counter-sniper team didn't make it to the roof. What I'm hearing from sources is that that tactical team positioned it through a second-floor window, which cedes the high ground. And nobody noticed? Nobody noticed that that post, that CS post, was unmanned? Nobody had any idea?
Now, we reached out to the Secret Service, and they told us no comment. I thought the roof was too sloped. Now we're hearing the counter snipers played hooky, and nobody noticed. And the Secret Service were the ones who set this perimeter, so no excuses. And the perimeter was set so that when bullets did start flying, the responding officers were trapped. Watch this.
Hit it like you mean it.
And not only was the building rooftop wide open, they didn't have any security outside of the building either. The Washington Post reporting tonight that local police had alerted the Secret Service before the rally that they didn't have the resources to station officers at that building. And the Secret Service didn't do anything about it. But Cheadle says she did everything she could, kind of.
Was every element increased after you learned of this credible threat?
What we increased was what we felt was appropriate for the former president and for that particular event on that day. We have been increasing the assets and the resources and the staffing that we have been providing to the former president since he was a presidential candidate and then the presumptive nominee. That's what I can tell you.
That sounds like a no.
I am not saying a no at all. I'm saying that we have continued to increase the resources that we've been providing to the former president.
Cheadle doesn't even sound like a Secret Service director. She sounds like an evasive politician. Today, there was a closed-door briefing to Congress, and they said the assassin's search history showed searches for Trump rally dates and the dates of the DNC. This is kind of like how he's a registered Republican who donated to Democrats. Weird, right? And we also learned that 2 Secret Service agents posted on the rooftop behind Trump, that famous photo, weren't the ones who unloaded the kill shot. It was another sniper who ended Crooks' life. But they won't tell us where he shot from. It's so bizarre. And now we're getting leaks from the intelligence community that the Iranians have a fatwa on 45. And, quote, there may be more attempts on Trump's life in the coming weeks. This is completely unacceptable.